I was sitting in the back of my limo when I saw a familiar face on the corner. Her face was dirty, her clothes tattered, and my heart sank. Because 15 years ago, she was the only girl I ever loved. And she was also the one who destroyed me. I almost didn't believe it. The streetlight flickered above her, and for a moment, I thought my eyes were playing tricks. But it was her. Emily. The same girl who once ran barefoot through the fields with me, who once held my hand and promised me forever. Now she was sitting on a piece of cardboard, hugging a worn blanket like it was the only thing left in the world that hadn't left her. 15 years ago, I was nothing. Just a small-town boy with big dreams and no money. Emily believed in me, or at least I thought she did. We were supposed to leave that town together, go chase something bigger. I had a full scholarship and plans for the future. But 2 weeks before I left, I saw her kissing my best friend, Jake. She didn't even deny it. She just said, "It's better this way." That was the day something in me broke. I left without looking back. I poured every ounce of pain into my work. That anger became my fuel. In 10 years, I built an empire. I became a billionaire. I had everything I thought I wanted, except peace. And now, here she was, on the streets. Forgotten, ruined. I should have kept driving, but I couldn't. I asked my assistant to find out everything about her. What happened to her life? Why was she here? The more I dug, the more things didn't add up. Emily had worked hard, gone to college, even started a nonprofit for children. But then the donations stopped. She was accused of embezzlement. No trial, just whispers and ruined reputation. Jake's name came up again, now a powerful politician with connections in the media and business world. Suddenly, I saw it clearly. She hadn't betrayed me. He had. Jake had set her up back then and now. He had always wanted what I had, even if it meant destroying it, including Emily. I found her again, got her clean clothes, food, a place to stay. She cried when she saw me. "I never stopped loving you," she whispered. "I know," I said. And this time I meant it. But this wasn't over. Jake had taken enough. Now it was my turn. I started planning. Quietly, carefully. Everything he built, every lie he told, it would all come crashing down. Because I had something more powerful than money. I had the truth. And this time, I wasn't walking away. She was sitting alone on a bench near the subway entrance, staring into nothing. Her clothes were torn, her skin pale, her hair tangled like it hadn't been brushed in months. I almost walked past her, until I looked again. It was her. Emily. She didn't recognize me. Why would she? I had changed. The awkward boy she once dumped at prom was now wearing a tailored suit, stepping out of a black SUV, worth billions. But I remembered everything. She had broken me. On prom night, I was supposed to pick her up. We'd planned it for weeks. But when I arrived, I saw her dancing with my best friend. Laughing. She never came outside. She never answered my calls after. It was the most painful night of my life. I left that town the next day, angry and humiliated. I told myself I'd never look back. But here I was, standing a few feet away from the girl who turned my world upside down. And now she was nothing. An idea hit me. A sick one. I told my team to start filming. We'd make it a story. Billionaire helps homeless woman from his past. It would go viral. A perfect redemption arc. People love those. We got her cleaned up. Clothes. Food. Haircut. My PR team made her smile for cameras, say thank you, act grateful. The public loved it. But behind closed doors, she was falling apart. Her hands shook. She barely slept. She kept looking at me like I was a stranger. Then one night she said softly, "You never knew the truth, did you?" "What truth?" I asked. She looked at me with tired eyes. "That night, I was supposed to meet you. But Jake, he told me you'd already left town. He made me come inside. Said you wanted nothing to do with me." Jake, my former best friend. The one I saw her with that night. She wasn't laughing with him. She was crying. But I hadn't looked long enough to see it. Turns out, Jake had lied to both of us. He was jealous of our relationship. He fed me lies about her, fed her lies about me, and when I left town, he made sure we stayed apart. Years later, when she tried to start her life again, he ruined her nonprofit. Quietly, cruelly. I had used her again, for likes, for clicks. I was no better than him, but not anymore. I shut down the campaign. I deleted the videos. I took the money I made from her story and gave it to women's shelters in her name. Then I went after Jake. With my power, I tore down everything he built. Every dirty deal, every lie, every fake friend gone. And Emily? She still doesn't fully trust me. But for the first time in years, she smiled. A real smile. Maybe that's a start. I built my empire from nothing. Dirt floors, one meal a day, and a broken heart. That's where I started. Now, I own 5 companies, 2 jets, and a mansion that stretches longer than the street I grew up on. People ask me what drove me. The answer is simple. Her betrayal. Emily. She was my everything. We were kids, poor but in love. I used to dream of leaving town with her, building a better life. Then one day, she just walked away. No goodbye. No reason. She was seen holding hands with another guy 2 days later. That rage? It turned me into someone unstoppable. 15 years later, I saw her name on a housekeeping application. At first, I thought it was a joke. But when she walked into my mansion, head down, eyes dull, I knew it was real. She didn't recognize me. Perfect. I hired her on the spot. Called her by number, not name. Gave her the worst shifts. Made her clean my office, where pictures of my success hung on the walls like trophies. I wanted her to feel small. Like I had. She never complained. Never cried. Just worked in silence. I left clues. Our old song playing in the hall. A scarf she once gave me left on a chair. Nothing. No reaction. Then one night, I found her in the laundry room, staring at a photo of us, hidden in my drawer. She was crying. Something cracked inside me. I started digging. I found letters. From her. Dozens. All sent to me, all returned. I asked my uncle, the only one I trusted at the time, if he knew about them. He confessed. He had destroyed them. Paid Emily to leave. Told her I was better off without her. Said I'd never succeed if I stayed tied to small-town love. And she believed him. Left me. To protect my future. I had tortured the wrong person. I told her everything. She didn't scream. Didn't shout. Just looked at me with sad eyes and said, "I'm glad you made it." That night, I couldn't sleep. The next morning, I shut down my old company. Sold them. Donated half the money. I started a new company, one that helps kids from towns like ours. Smart kids with no chances. Emily runs it now. We don't talk much about the past. There's too much pain. But sometimes when I pass her office, I see her smiling. And I finally feel like I've built something real. They called me the lonely billionaire with no heirs. That was the headline in the magazine. A man with billions, but no one to leave it to. They didn't know the truth. I didn't care about heirs. I only cared about her. Emily, the girl who once promised forever. We were young, poor, and happy in our little town. She was my first kiss, my first love, my whole world. Then she vanished. One day she was in my arms, the next gone. Everyone said she ran off with someone else. I believed them. I buried the pain and used it to build something huge. Every company, every deal, every dollar. It was all a way to forget her. But I never really did. Years later, at a charity event downtown, I saw her. At first, I thought my mind was playing tricks. But it was her. Only she looked lost. Her eyes were dull, confused, like she was living in another world. She didn't recognize me. I couldn't just walk away. I had my team find out everything. Slowly, the truth began to come out. She hadn't run away. She'd been taken. After high school, her mother sent her away to live with distant family. But it was a lie. She was sent to a private hospital. Hidden. Controlled. Told that no one wanted her. Gaslight for years until her memories faded. Worse, there was a child. A daughter. Born in that place. Raised by strangers. I didn't know what to think. Was she mine? Was she someone else's? It didn't matter. I used my power to shut down the corrupt hospital. I tracked down the people who hurt her, one by one. Every person who had a hand in stealing her life lost everything. I brought Emily back to the world. Got her help. Slowly, her memory began to return. Bits and pieces. Some joyful, some painful. Then we found her daughter. She was 10. Quiet. Bright. With eyes just like Emily's. A DNA test came back. Uncertain. I looked at that little girl, holding Emily's hand, and I knew. She didn't need a test. She needed love. So I became her father. In every way that mattered. People still call me the lonely billionaire. But they don't see the little girl running through the halls of my home. They don't see the woman I thought I lost, now sitting beside me, reading stories at night. I didn't build my empire to be rich. I built it to bury the pain. Now I use it to protect them. And finally, I'm not alone. I owe my fortune to a woman who destroyed me, I told my board, standing in front of a wall of screens showing models, campaigns, and runway shows. She's the reason this empire exists. They laughed, not knowing I meant every word. 15 years ago, Emily broke me. We were just kids, but I loved her like she was my forever. One night, I found her in someone else's arm. No explanation. No goodbye. Just gone. I left town the next morning. Angry. Empty. I slept on floors, worked night shifts, and taught myself coding and design on borrowed laptops. All while imagining her laughing at my pain. That rage became my fire. I built a brand that screamed success. Luxury. Power. Now, I own buildings in cities we used to dream about visiting. But no amount of money ever erased her from my mind. Then one day, I saw her again. On a street in New York. She was sitting on the sidewalk, back against a brick wall. Her eyes were distant. Her hair matted. She looked thin, broken, addicted. A shadow of the girl I once knew. At first, I smiled. Karma. But I couldn't look away. I had my people follow her. Dig into her past. What I found didn't make sense. She had once worked at a women's charity, then vanished from the public eye. Rumors of drugs, theft. Then silence. Something felt off. I followed the trail myself. And that's when I saw them, men in black cars, watching her. She wasn't just homeless. She was being followed. I dug deeper. What I found made my blood run cold. She had stumbled into something years ago. A powerful network involved in trafficking, money laundering, and political bribery. She tried to expose them. They destroyed her, framed her, broke her. She didn't betray me. She tried to protect me, and herself. Suddenly, my empire felt like a joke. I had built it thinking I was rising from her betrayal. But she was the one who had fallen. I turned everything I had into a weapon. Media. Tech power. I exposed the network, leaked files, forced resignations, shut down businesses. And then I went to her. She was on the same street where I first saw her. Still lost. Still broken. I knelt beside her in my $1,000 suit and whispered, "Emily, do you want your life back?" She blinked. For a second, I saw a spark of the old her. The girl who once believed in both of us. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about redemption. For both of us. She broke up with me and disappeared the same night. No explanation, no warning. One moment we were planning our future. The next she was gone. Emily. She left behind a note. "Don't look for me." And I didn't. I turned my pain into drive. I worked day and night, built a tech company from scratch, made my first million at 22. Love. I locked that door and threw away the key. Then one cold morning I saw her. On the street. Dirty, shivering, clutching a plastic bag full of clothes. I froze. My heart knew her even if my mind didn't want to. She looked up, and for a second, I saw recognition in her eyes, but she turned away. I told myself to ignore it. She had made her choice. But I couldn't. I sent someone to follow her. I needed answers. What I found changed everything. She had been in hiding. She wasn't a runaway. She was a target. Back then, someone had threatened her family. If she didn't break up with me, they'd get hurt. She chose to protect them and vanish. Her father owed money to powerful people. People I never even knew existed in our quiet town. She gave up everything. Her future. Her safety. Her voice. And I hated myself for not asking questions sooner. I went back to that town. Looked deeper. What I found made me sick. Our town was a mask. Underneath it was a network of corruption. Dirty cops, bribed officials, secret deals, and scared family. They had silenced her. And everyone knew. I had power now. Money. Connections. I started digging up records, calling in favors, building cases. I bought the local news outlet and exposed them all, article by article, name by name. Lawsuits followed. Protests. Arrests. I watched that town burn from the inside out. And she watched with me. She was scared at first. She had lived in fear for so long. But slowly, she found her voice again. Strong. Clear. I built a nonprofit in her name. Publicly, it was a women's shelter. Secretly, it was a place for people like her. People with stories no one believed. I asked her to run it. She cried when I handed her the keys. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because you never stopped fighting," I said. Now she sits behind a desk, helping women get their lives back. And I watch from afar, proud. She betrayed me once. Or so I thought. But in the end, it was the world that betrayed us both. Now we're taking it back. One life at a time. I bought the first building as a test. No one questioned it. Billionaires invest in real estate all the time. But this wasn't just business. This was personal. It was the street I grew up on. The block where I met her. Emily. I hadn't seen her in years. After high school, life pulled us in different directions. I made it out. She didn't. I tried looking for her before, but she had vanished. No phone, no social media, no trace. So I started buying. Old stores, apartment buildings, rundown homes. One by one. I turned them into something better. But every deal was just a step toward finding her. And then I did. My assistant found her name on a shelter registry. I went there myself. She was in the corner, folding donated clothes. Thin, quiet, eyes empty. Her hair was shorter, her skin pale. But it was her. She didn't recognize me. Not even a flicker of memory. Doctors called it trauma-induced amnesia. Too many years of pain, abuse, and isolation. Her mind had locked the past away to protect her. Still, I couldn't give up. I filled her world with memories, our old songs, her favorite foods, photos of our childhood. I took her to the diner we used to sneak into, the park where we first kissed. Pieces started coming back. Her eyes softened. She laughed once, just a little. But not all memories were kind. One night, she looked at me with fear. "You left," she whispered, "when I needed you." She was right. I had gone off chasing success, blind to what she was going through. Rumors, threats, people using her to get to me. I hadn't noticed. And when she fell, no one caught her. Maybe I was part of the reason she ended up here. I wanted to fix it. Give her everything she'd lost. But someone else had other plans. A man from our past, someone who once loved her too, someone I had beaten in more ways than one, was watching. He didn't want her to remember the truth. because the truth made him the villain. He started showing up, sending messages, threats. He had power now too, and he wanted her back. But this time I wouldn't leave. I doubled security, hired lawyers, dug into his past like I had into hers. I wasn't just fighting for love, I was fighting for her safety. She remembers me now. Not fully, not perfectly, but she knows I'm here, and that I won't stop until she's safe. I bought the whole block to find her. Now I'll tear down the world to protect her. I was walking to my car after a meeting in Midtown when I heard shouting from across the street. A woman was screaming names I recognized from Wall Street politics tech. Names not many people would dare say in public. I turned to look. It was her, Emily. Her clothes were filthy, her eyes wild. She was pacing back and forth, waving a wrinkled piece of paper like it was a flag. "They're lying," she shouted. "The numbers don't add up. He stole everything. Ask Andrew Dent." My blood ran cold. Andrew Dent was my old mentor, a man the world called a genius, a man I once trusted. But Emily, I hadn't seen her in over a decade. We were close once, very close, until she vanished. No one believed me when I said something was wrong. They said she ran off. But now, here she was, shouting about secrets she wasn't supposed to know. I watched from a distance, curious, confused. A part of me didn't want to get involved, but another part knew, if she was right, people were in danger. I sent someone to follow her. I had her taken in quietly, cleaned up, given food and a safe place to sleep. Then I started listening. Her madness wasn't madness at all. Her ramblings were coded, hidden truths disguised as nonsense. Every story she told had a thread. And when I pulled those threads, I found something rotten underneath. My mentor had been running a network of fraud and abuse for years, using charities, shell companies, fake research. Billions lost. People hurt. Whistleblowers silenced. Emily had tried to stop it back then. She'd worked for his company. She found something, and they made sure no one would listen to her again. They painted her as unstable, pushed her to the edge, made the world forget her. But she remembered everything. We worked in secret. Late nights, fake names, hidden accounts. She was brilliant, sharp, brave. And when we were ready, we dropped it all at once. Files, videos, audio, everything. The news exploded. Powerful people fell. And then we stood in front of cameras, live on every major network. I introduced her. Emily Grayson, I said, was called crazy. She was right all along. She stood beside me, head high, eyes clear. "I'm not here for revenge," she said. "I'm here for the truth." And just like that, the world saw her. Not as a homeless woman, but as the hero she always was. I've carried the same ring in my pocket for 15 years. I bought it when I was 19. I was going to propose to Emily after graduation. We had it all planned, college, big dreams, building a life together. But things changed. I got a job offer across the country, one of those once-in-a-lifetime chances. I asked her to come with me. She said no. At least, that's what I believed. I left. Angry. Hurt. I never looked back. But not a day went by that I didn't think about her. Now I own companies, buildings, a jet, everything except peace. Then one day I saw her, at a small community center, teaching art to kids. She looked older, tired, but she still had that quiet strength in her eyes, the one I always loved. I didn't say anything. I didn't tell her who I was. Instead, I started helping. Silently, I donated to the center, paid off its debts, planted allies, people to guide her back toward a better life. I created job offers that led to promotions, random meetings that opened doors. She was rising again, but she started to notice. One day she looked me in the eye and said, "Why are you helping me?" I tried to lie. She didn't let me, so I told her the truth. "I never stopped loving you," I said. "I just wanted to make things right." She stared at me for a long time. Then she shook her head. "You think I let you go," she whispered. "But I didn't. I waited. You never came back." I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. She showed me a letter. One she wrote after I left. One I never got. Her dad never mailed it. He thought she should move on. She waited. For years. While I thought she'd chosen to let me go. We both cried. So much pain from one misunderstanding. But we decided not to waste more time. We started over. Slowly. Carefully. Learning to trust again. Together, we found the old wounds. And we began to heal them. The ring is still in my pocket. I haven't given it to her yet. But now, I know the right moment will come. And this time I won't leave. Not ever again. I didn't love her. Not really. Not in the way most people mean it. Emily was never soft. Neither was I. We were fire and gasoline, dangerous together, but drawn like magnets. In high school, we played games with hearts like they were chess pieces. We dated each other just to win, hurt each other just to feel something. Then she vanished. I heard rumors, family troubles, bad decisions, jail. I didn't care. I moved on, built my empire. I learned how to win for Real, and I never looked back, until I saw her again. She was sitting outside a subway station, hair a mess, skin pale, talking to herself. The same girl who once beat me at every mind game was now homeless. I saw an opportunity, not to save her, to use her. I brought her in, gave her clean clothes, a makeover, and a camera crew. I turned her into the perfect story, from the streets to CEO. My brand needed a new image. She was it. She played her part well. Too well. The media loved her. Investors adored her. She started asking questions about the business, making suggestions, changing things. I should have shut her down. But something in me enjoyed the game again. The danger. The heat. Old feelings came back. Not love, but something sharper. Obsession. Possession. And then I realized something. She was using me too. I wasn't the only one pulling strings. She leaked stories to the press, started forming alliances built her own brand under my nose, all while smiling for the cameras. One night, I confronted her. You're trying to take what I built. She smiled. I learned from the best. I should have hated her. Instead, I almost kissed her. The next morning, half my team resigned. Her company launched that week. Same name, better logo, bigger buzz. She beat me. Again. I watched her on TV, giving interviews in the office that used to be mine. She looked straight into the camera and said, "This was never about love. It was always about power." She was right. And the war isn't over.
Hi besties, thank you so much for watching to the end. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe.